Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Welcome to Spiritual X-Men Experiences. Forgive me for my little, like, see my lip go a different way. Just came back from the dentist, so the anesthesia that they give you is slowly wearing off. So at least I'm able to actually smile, and it's not like, I ain't gonna make no funny weird faces. I'm gonna try not to anyway. But man, it's hard to lick my lips though. Don't mind me. Y'all know I'm goofy. Uh, but I came across. You guys know how I like to come across different topics and explore them. But I came across something I believe zoology, where that person in India had brought up a topic like if it might not be verbatim, but it was like if somebody proposed and they say no, like it's at the end of the relationship. But what I want to talk about is the answer no. Is no a rejection or is it an answer? What I've come across just through experiences of life and just random conversations that you have with people day to day and throughout my life, and there's a plethora of different reasons behind that. Can no be a rejection, or is it a answer? What I've came across through growth and definitely a growth process is no is not a rejection. It is a answer. It is a reply to a question or a situation or whatever the case may be. Usually a question or a situation. No, from what I have gathered from my personal experiences, because and just from others that I have came across, is it's an answer. It becomes a rejection based on the receiver of the answer no and how we perceive it. In a, I don't necessarily want to say low vibrational, but in a state of being where things have not been healed from the past, and you know our own worth and value not necessarily being validated within ourselves, that it can be taken as a rejection. For example, if you ask somebody out on a date and they say no, and you know we're not in that part where, or in that place emotionally or mentally, to be able to handle the answer, it becomes a rejection, because a rejection is a form of lack. Is saying that, okay, well, which also comes from reflection. So it's like reflecting onto that person and that answer, not necessarily. Now, can it go to that person? Yes. In the 3D aspect, it's a reflection upon that person, which the person has really nothing to do with it, with the fact of you feeling rejected. No is an answer. If you ask somebody on a date, they say no, or you propose to somebody and they say no, or you go for a job and they say no, or you have an opportunity or an idea and they say no, it's an answer. How it becomes a rejection is if we don't know or are aware of our own self-worth and our own power that resides within ourselves. Now, how is that? You might ask. Because if we feel rejected from not getting the answer that we wish or wanted or perceived or the outcome that we wanted to play a part, which is having an expectation, it can become a rejection because then we feel like, okay, well, what's wrong? We take it personal and internalize it and wonder, well, what's wrong with me? Am I not good enough? Were they outside of my league? Did I not come across this right? Should I have done this differently? Should I have done that differently? Should I have me? It's it's really internalizing and taking that answer personal because we start thinking about, okay, well, I this, or should I have did this, or whatever the case may be. When it's an answer, we have to think about not just us, but the other person because we asked, we knew what we wanted to go after, what it is that we wanted to perceive, and our expectations or aspirations towards that. It becomes a rejection because 9 times out of 10, a lot of us, if we're not fully aware of our own self value and our own self worth, it's a rejection because where they're internalized that, well, something must be wrong with me, or maybe they didn't like me, or it's all about me, and I am like, okay, well, what did I do wrong? Did I not come across this right? Was my breath kicking? Did I not have on the right outfit? Did I say it right? Did I say something wrong? Did I have something in my teeth? Was my hair not on point or something? Maybe I wore the color red and they don't like red, they like green. When it's essentially just an answer. It's an answer. Now, what becomes hard, especially in relationships, if we get the answer no, is then, okay, now you have a choice. You could choose to keep pursuing that or just let it go. When it comes to dating or a job or an opportunity, especially if you've done any type of occupation that comes to sales, or it's a occupation that you really really want. Some of us walk into a job, we're able to get it, boom, bam, right then and there, every time. So then the first time we go to an occupation or, a job or an interview and we're told no, we internalize that, well, okay, well, is it something that I did wrong? Is it something that when it could just be the universe, which I personally feel the universe testing you. Do you have the endurance to keep going? Do you have the endurance to move forward past that? Um, Something that I learned in one of the classes that I had came across and was able to take, you know, when somebody says no, I've had a couple jobs. So let's say, for instance, I've done telemarketing before for info commercials. Now, I've done telemarketing for to raise funds, and I've done telemarketing where they actually sold products. Same scenario, two completely different situations. One, when you're trying to raise funds, they give you a script and everything. Well, in both of them, they both give you a script. When you're trying to raise funds, a lot of people ask questions like, okay, well, how much of my money is actually going toward this and this and this and this, and how they have it phrased a lot of the times is a form of manipulation. Now, where I would get in trouble in that in those situations where, let's just say, I, which I was let go from that job, and the manager actually said, there was nothing that you did wrong. Maybe this just isn't a good fit for you. I had one manager that's like, oh, well, you could have did this and this and that and this, but then, his boss came up to me and was like, what, we are going to have to let you go because, if for some odd reason, you're just not getting the sales that we need you to get, but I listened to your phone calls and everything, and you did everything correctly right. Yes, you veered off of the script, and he was like, I saw you actually trying to establish a connection, a bond with the people, and although you went off the script, you were truthful. You told experiences that you had went through, and you understood like how the customer was coming from, and I can't fault you for anything, besides the fact that you're just not meeting our quota. But I don't know why you're not getting the responses that others are getting and gaining. But we do have to let you go. But you're more than welcome to come back and give it another try. But it was just like sticking to certain scripts and things of that nature. It was, for me, I didn't necessarily like it because there was, excuse me, just eight. There was phrases coming around where it was more so beating in the bush. And a couple of times where I did stick to the script, it's like, okay, but you're not answering my question. You're like diverging it. You're hinting around the bush and not giving me a direct answer. And I 100% felt them. And I was like, you know what? I'm just telling you the facts that I was giving during training that I have sitting here in front of me. I can't answer the questions that you do have. In another situation, um, there was a telemarketing where for info commercials, and the products were actually amazing, but it wasn't necessarily selling the products because these people were calling us. We weren't calling them, like in the previous situation that I was talking about. So they saw the commercial, they want the product, but where they would get frustrated is all the add-ons and all the additions, which essentially is where we will make most of our income from, through commission of getting them to sign up. And they would ask questions like, okay, well, is this like something that's going to continuously be charged? And we weren't allowed to, we had to actually give them a straightforward answer, yes, but there was like all this hoopla added to it, like, yeah, but you can cancel and none of this, but just give it a try. And when it came to sales, because I started my own sell business when I was in the first grade. But hey, I sold these things called peanut butter balls. Learned about it in first grade. We just made them as a project, and I actually like went out and sold them. I wanted a swimming pool and then a slinky. And my mom was like, no, I'm not buying you another swimming pool. That one's perfectly fine. And I'm like, but it has a little hole in it. You get some tape, you'll be good to go. And I'm not buying you any more slinkies because you either lose them or you get them all tangled up. I still wanted what I wanted. So I went out and made a way. Okay, we have all this extra peanut butter, all these extra graham crackers and powdered sugar. Let me go ahead. I could do this. Boom, bam, went out. My mom was like, man, ain't nobody gonna buy. Not that she was trying to put me down, but it was like, it's summer. Who's gonna buy a bunch of peanut butter? And then it has to stay cool. How is it gonna stay cool when you're out there? But she was more so like, okay, I don't want you to go out here thinking you're about to make a whole bunch of money and it gets hurt. And you know, your feelings get hurt. So letting you know, don't set your expectations too high. But you know, a parent is always, worried about their child's feelings and emotions. I was like, you know what? I appreciate that, but it's gonna be good. Went out there, actually sold way more than what I anticipated. Had to go back and make another 3, 4 batches. I was like, make the long story short, I was able to get in a swimming pool and like hella a lot of slinkies. But there was people that I came across that said no, and I didn't take it personally. Even in telemarketing, there were people who would get agitated and irritated, like, "Hey, look, I'm watching a football game," because a lot of times in the one situation, we would call on Sundays at like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. Um, I would get chewed out because, like, look, it's a football game on. I'm not trying to hear whatever it is you got to say. Why don't you go out and find a good job and da da this instead of trying to harass people and, well, what you got to say for yourself? I was like, well, sir, I'm actually I'm a veteran, and we were actually calling on behalf of the veterans at the time. I was like, I am a veteran. I This is a part-time job. I am in school right now, having a double major in psychology and sociology, and this is just a way for me to be able to that works with my school schedule for me to provide income. He's like, well, this isn't honest, and everything else, and to a certain extent, I felt him. I was like, hey, you know what? You know, to each his own. I respect your opinion, but I do apologize for interrupting your football game. It is a Sunday, it's your days off, and you know, and actually, he actually ended up donating. He was like, "Now I'm donate this one time, but you take me off this list." But that just shows that having still that positive attitude and still not necessarily not doubting that person first saying no. I'm like, hey, you know what? I completely agree. You ain't trying to get the time. You trying to enjoy your football game, and just being honest. And that was another thing. The manager said, like, yeah, you just didn't stick at all to the script, but you still was able to get that donation. How did you do that? I was just honest with the man because I put myself in his shoes. Like, would I? Yeah, that's annoying when you get the people that call and you answer. You're like, hey, hello, and you don't know. It could be one of your friends that got a new phone number or anything, and you find out it's a telemarketer trying to get some money from you. It is. It's annoying. It's no different than a bill collector calling. You're like, look, I ain't got it. Told you last time I ain't got it. You know? And I've even had, a bill collector call one time and was just like, took it quite personally at the fact that, well, I'm not understanding, well, you shouldn't have did this if you couldn't pay. I was like, well, sir, when I signed up for the service, I wasn't planning on not being able to pay it, but you know what? Life happens. Things happen that, does not go accordingly, and he took it, very, very personally, got very upset. I did ask to speak to his manager, and the manager was like, oh, well, that's, just not acceptable, because she listened to the voicemail. I was like, I just want to, come across and tell you that, I don't really know what's going on. She was like, well, hold on, what's the name? Listen to the voicemail. She came back, like, ready to go in on it. I was like, well, you know what? Don't go in on him because, I understand. I've been in his position. And some people are just that irate and rude and disrespectful when all you're trying to do is your job. So it might not have been me. Maybe he had somebody before me, a few people before me, that put him in that bad mood. It's just tell him if he gets there, just tell him go woosah. You know, drink some tea. Watch some kittens on YouTube or something. I don't know. And she actually put my little account because it wasn't much, but put it on hold. It was like, hey, you know what? Just call us when you're able to pay a little bit of something. But I'm gonna put your account on hold because I've never had anybody come across like that. Usually people are ready to get people fired. I'm like, well, no, like I don't want to take away somebody's way of providing for themselves or their family. Like, I don't know if this man has children or, in school and just trying to, pay for books or, be able to pay for him to have some fun, besides just studying all the time. But it's situations like those that I have been in that, know from a professional outlook didn't stop. It gave me more of a determination. I applied for, jobs where they said no, and I'm not gonna lie, like there were positions like, well, dang, what was I not doing something right? Da 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 this, da da this, and I go back and think about it. I was like, you know what? No, maybe there was somebody that they vibed with better, or that was more qualified, or they just didn't want to take the chance, with me because I didn't have the certain qualifications and or experience, and they wanted somebody with more experience. It's nothing personal. They just trying to run their business and they want their business to be as successful as it could possibly be. If it was your business, what would you do? When it comes to relationships and like family, friends, different people that we can form bonds with, it's a little touchy feely. It's a little touch and go when it comes to that because we do have some form of emotional connection or want some type of emotional connection or a deeper emotional connection so that when we hear no, it does affect us. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that, all the time I've been, no, by all means, this took growth and coming into my own self and be able to realize my own self worth and power and, things of that nature. I'm a very determined individual. Now, I'm not going to pester, anybody. Somebody's like, no, you know what? I have absolutely no interest in you, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to let it go. But if I have somebody on a day and they just, no, you know, I now think about it as like, okay, maybe they're in a place where they're not ready to date. Maybe they're in a place like, okay, well, you know what? I just don't know you that well to go off on a date with you, just me and you alone. You know, maybe I have to ask, like, hey, me and a couple of my friends are going somewhere. Would you like to tag along with us? It's not a date. We just all hanging up. I find you to be a cool person. Would you like to tag along? You know, to maybe be able to get to, that point. And even still, you know, uh, some people that I've came across, some women that I've came across, they want to see your determination level. Like, is no just going to be able to knock you down and that's it? And because I have come across, how like you're going to the stores or at the mall and you hear, oh hey, what's up, ma? And I don't do all the lines and stuff. I just go and have a conversation. And then the lady says no, and they're like, oh, well, forget you. I ain't never liked you anyway. You ugly anyway. I laugh at stuff like that. Like, you was attracting to the lady. You wouldn't have wanted to approach her. Your ego is hurt, so now your ego is hurt. Now you want to reflect your pain out on her and make her feel even less or shitty. Like you think that's going to have her turn around and be like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Now I feel bad. So now, no, now she's gonna perceive you as a complete jerk and be happy that, I'm happy I said no. Versus somebody be no, okay, all right. Well, you know what? You have a great day. You know, you're still a beautiful woman or a wonderful person, and go on about your day in life. You can end up coming across that same woman and they're like, you know what? Hey, how are you? Like, hey, how are you? Oh, I remember you from, yeah, I remember you. You know what? I will take you out on that date. And, a couple guys might be like, okay, well, what made her change her mind? Make you a little bit leery, like, okay, well, why, what's going on? Why all of a sudden you want to, but a lot of times it's like, well, you know what? I've never had anybody react to me in that form. Usually I get, like I said in the previous, they get mad or upset, and tail between the legs or just give up and that's it. Some people want to see your determination. Another reply to no, like you, it's putting yourself in the other person's shoes. Like, why would, if somebody approached you, why would you say no? Maybe you're just not in the dating. Maybe you just got out of a bad relationship and you're not willing to dive into another one. Maybe you wear your heart on your sleeves and you've been hurt before, so dating is a little, it's a little touchy feely situation. You know, maybe you're focused on your career right now, and you just don't have the actual free time. You know, maybe your work schedule is busy. And you're like, what, I don't know. If you were to say yes, it'd be like, okay, well, we could go on a date, but it's gonna have to be next month. You know, and you just want to put somebody in that position of, okay, well, now I feel like I'm holding this person back because I got stuff going on in my life. No is essentially an answer. It's an answer. And it's going to take time to get there to realize that it's just an answer. And you don't need to pressure that person, and that person doesn't need to pressure you. I've been blessed enough to come across a class that talked about, which it is, about selling and things of that nature, actually real estate. And it was like, what, somebody says no, you just go, hey, okay, well, what, keep the brochure, here's my card. If you change your mind, or somebody else that that might be willing to keep it, and thank you for your time. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you meeting me, and you have a great day. A lot of times that will change their perspective, like, oh, well, this person wasn't even, because when that pressure comes on, it's like it comes off as, well, I need you to say yes because I need this. I need this. It comes out of a form of desperation versus just, hey, here's an offer and here's a choice for you to accept or reject. Either accept it or you reject it. You reject it, okay, hey, took the chance. All right. Instead of sitting back of, well, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Now you know that you took the chance. It just didn't go the way that you planned, wished, or dreamed, or hoped, or expected it to go. That's all that means. No is essentially an answer because we have to put ourselves in the other person's shoes. Just like I'm sure that I have more female watchers than males, but why is it that you said no? And some of your apartment agreement like, yeah, what, I just wasn't ready. What, I was just focused on my kids right now. I have children, so I didn't feel the need to be dating right now. I need to focus on them. And yeah, what, I did just get out of a relationship. Yeah, what, I did have my heart hurt and crushed, and I'm still healing from that. And I didn't want to project that onto somebody else that had absolutely nothing to do with my past. Yeah, what, I just didn't feel like dating. It'll be just that simple. What, I just want to be able to do me right now and not worry about anybody else's emotional state or anything that they have going on in their life. I got a lot, or I got a lot going on in my life. I just don't have time to worry about anybody else's stuff because it does form an emotional connection. So then, if they're going through something, like even just something as simple as catching a cold, you're gonna be concerned. Like, oh, well, what? Would you like me to bring you some soup over? Do you have a fever? You know, what's going on? Are you okay? And it's not being selfish. It's worrying about yourself, which you're allowed to do. We're allowed to worry about ourselves. We can't. What I have learned, because with my life path was learning the majority of life lessons through relationships, not just romantic relationships, but just, relationships in general. And I've learned we can't love or value anybody else more than we love and value ourselves. So through, all of that and through like past and stuff like that, and you take time out to really become aware of yourself, know your personal value, know your personal worth. And that way when you do come across situations that, hey, it might start off good and you're like, you know what? And later on it decreases because, first impressions are first impressions, and over time you get to know the true person, good and bad. You might, and it's not even saying that they're doing something negatively bad, but everybody has that side about them. Nobody's perfect, but it's picking and choosing between, what are you willing to put up with in a relationship. You might come across and be like, you know what, that's something that just truly irritates me, and I really can't be with somebody that does that or feels that way or exhibits that behavior or feels that way, or those are their actions or those are their personality, or whatever the case may be. It's a choice. It is. It's essentially a choice to actually be in a commitment in a relationship. We can love people. I love everybody just as a general human being. Even people like, oh, well, yeah, even people who have, done wrong or trespasses, because we're all not perfect, and regardless of whatever that is, now it doesn't mean that I have to give myself away because of whatever it is that they exhibit, or are going through, because, you set up healthy boundaries. But also at the same time, I'm still not going to treat you any less of a human being because you got your own stuff going on or have a past that you're healing from. That doesn't justify that. Um, Recently, the other day, I met a homeless person, and they were sitting on a corner asking people for change and everything. And I was like, you know what, dude, I don't have it. I have everything on my card in plastic. But you know what? I asked him, hey, are you a veteran? I know some places you can go. I was like, hey, he was like, no. He has, a little bit. He's like, I'm a little off mentally. He's like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little off mentally. I struggle with, some depression and stuff like that. And I was on drugs very bad, but I surprisingly I have been able to be away from it for about 4 or 5 months. I was like, that's progress. I'm personally proud of you because that takes strength, especially being in the economic situation that you're in. A lot of people will be able to fall back on that. And he was like, I just really couldn't. It wasn't making my situation any better. If anything, it was making it even worse. And I looked up some stuff online, like, hey, have you tried this place or this place or this place? He was like, no, I didn't even know about those. I actually had my notebook on and wrote down for him, like, here you go. And hey, look, don't let anybody treat you like a second class citizen just because you don't have the material gains and things of that nature. You're still a human being. You are still you still deserve respect and love. You know, so regardless whether you're living in a mansion or you're living on the streets, look, whatever happened. Obviously, you had turned to drugs because something had happened that impacted you that deeply in your life that you did the most drastic escape. And I'm not even gonna say the most drastic because you're still here. Some people actually commit suicide because it's literally that bad and too much and too overwhelming that they would rather not be here than to. And a lot of people be like, oh, well, that's selfish. You don't know until you've come across something like that. Some people commit suicide after their child has passed, or all their family is gone. They have nobody to turn on. Like, everybody has a breaking point. Everybody. So never say never, because it could be you. Like, you can have a good job right here one day you could be a doctor, and the hospital that you work for committed some type of malpractice and they get shut down. now you're looking for a job, and with the medical field being the way that it was, and people were looking for a job that had some form of security behind it, they saw medical like STNAs, nurses assistant, for a while. That was like a booming industry. Now there's so many of them that the wages have decreased because they don't necessarily need as much as them. Or people, I know people who have went and got master degrees and can't find a job. So now they're doing jobs that has absolutely nothing to do with what they spent $300,000 in school for. I know somebody personally that went to a great 4-year college and then went on to a private graduate school where it was $100,000 a year, and they're not doing what they went to school for. So to catch up on those student loans, like it's never gonna happen because I'm not even doing it. I'm not even getting the pay wage that I was anticipating on getting for having, that job. Not saying that I wanted, the most, but at least, the minimum starting off point. And so, when it comes to that, it's a shocker. Any of us can be in that. It could be you could live in an apartment and somebody else set a house fire. Um, Before I relocated, there was a house fire down the street from me in an apartment complex. Obviously, it happened in one apartment home, but it spread throughout the whole building. And now they have to. And some of those people have renter's insurance, some of them didn't. So now they're starting completely over from scratch. And a lot of them were 2 and 3 bedrooms, so a lot of them do have children. And it's like, okay, well, now what? Now what to do? It can happen to any of us. Any of us. So, I've, from the various jobs that my mom has had and the various jobs that I have had, I've never looked down upon anybody because, oh, I'm at this status in this company and you're just cleaning them up in the floors. No, it's a job. You're out here, you're working, you're trying to make ends meet, you have a family. People sitting out, on their street. My heart goes out to those who are addicted to drugs because when I see them and they're out and they're asking for money, I'm like, oh, don't give them money, they're just going to go get another fix. It's like, yes, but now that's became an addiction. So if they don't get another fix, they could literally die. Like, there are people, if you watch any documentaries on Netflix, heroin is just that drastic that some people don't make it through recovery because it literally kills them. Like, because their body has become so accustomed to that drug that it literally kills them. And it's a lot of controversy around that, but my heart still goes out to them because it's like, what took you to that point to even, because we do have the knowledge, since the early 70s as to the effects that it causes. So it's like, what made you just to ignore all of that? And it's like, you know what? I'd rather escape my reality than to go through and do this. Like, my heart truly goes out to them because it's just like, wow, like what happened? Even with people who are veterans and just aren't mentally there, and it's like, well, you was in the service, so obviously you weren't where you are now. So like, what did you see? What did you come across that it affected you? It had that huge of an impact on you mentally and emotionally that, and you're not even on drugs, and it just took you out of your usual authentic self. These are questions that I come across when I come in contact with people like that, or just see them, walking around and things of that nature. It's like, damn, man, like what happened? And but they still shouldn't be treated as, second class citizens. I'm the type of person where, like, we take leftovers home all the time and it just sits in the refrigerator and nobody ever eats it. Like, from now on, like, if it sits more than a day, I know I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to start going out and giving it to, because why just throw it away when there's people literally going through the trash to find items like that to eat? And I could just, hey, it ain't even got to be in the trash with God knows what else is in there, needles, whatever. Here, you know, it's 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 heartbreaking because where I am now, I've never seen so many people in that situation before on a day to day basis, and it's a great, beautiful place, and just to see it truly makes you grateful for even the smallest of things. Like there are other homeless people. It's like, man, I could be where they are. Like I'm at least in my mental, right state of mind. But I could be where they are, and even have a conversation with that gentleman that said that. I was just like, wow, wow. Because yeah, it's true. But I know I kind of went, a little bit on a tangent, but no is an answer. And then to go to the question that Princess India had posted, if somebody proposes and they say no, and that's the end of the relationship, for the person that said no and then that other person decides to leave and walk off, that's just nothing but a blessing in disguise. Just rude. That's nothing but a blessing in disguise, boo boo, because that means that wasn't unconditional love. That was love with condition. Like, oh, well, so it's like if you said yes then, when you had said no for something else, how would that have played out, So, or maybe, even still, it could still be a blessing in disguise to be like, okay, and, that person could come back and be like, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, I flipped out, da 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 this, and realize that there was something inside of them that they needed to fix, that they needed healing from, that they didn't realize. So, a blessing in disguise on both ends, you know, because just the answer no shouldn't, true love is, I'm not even gonna say shouldn't, it's not gonna affect it. It's gonna be like, okay, well, maybe you weren't ready to get married. Maybe, you wasn't expecting this. I took you completely off guard and it truly shocked you, and your mind wasn't in on marriage yet. You wasn't at that step, maybe you feel like, we both aren't ready. Maybe you wanted to be a little bit more financially secure. Maybe you wanted to be a little bit more emotionally secure or mentally secure. Maybe you had some other stuff, going on that, you know, your partner was unaware of, that, brought that forth. It's like, oh, well, I didn't know you was going through that. Well, yeah, I didn't want to tell you because, I knew you was going to be worried, because people do that. You care about somebody and it's something that's mundane, and, you feel like, what, I can handle it. I don't need, we all do that. You don't want to put that burden on somebody else, and now they're worried too, somebody that's truly there for you, they're going to, but but you could have told me, I could have been here to help you. It's like, yeah, sometimes some people, it's like, no, that's something that I need to go through. I didn't want to help, not necessarily out of pride, but it's just like, it was my personal journey to go through, and I was expecting you to, ask me to marry you while I was still, handling that. Because, we can help somebody, but if we hadn't extend our arm out, which I'm stealing this from somebody that I just recently talked to, and they don't take it, it's like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? Pick you up and carry you? And then carry you the rest of the way? Like, no, But no is an answer. It's not rejection. It's not rejection at all. If it feels like a rejection, then all that is, which that's not bad either. It's just, okay, what do I need to take time on to recognize within myself that I need to work on, that I feel as if I'm being rejected? because that's being internalized and personalized in yourself in some type of way, shape, or form. Like, even if it is essentially a rejection, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Just not on the same vibrational frequency. A blessing in disguise, whatever the case may be. I mean, it doesn't have to be something bad or negative. It's an experience. At least you're like, hey, you know what? Thought this person was attractive. I tried. Or you could have just said like, dang, man, I wonder what would happen if I asked that girl off. Dang, man, I wonder what would happen if I went out with that dude. You you at least tried. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry. Eating coffee and lunch and stuff. My bad. But it's we have to put our shoe in the other foot, and then also take time out to reflect upon ourselves to see what led me to feel those emotions, because that person can't make you feel rejected. We essentially do that to ourselves. So it's what made that emotion come up from me? What made that thought bring forth those emotions in me? Because if you're feminine, if you're a divine feminine, and I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about spiritually. It's gonna come through as emotional, and then you're gonna think about it like, well, what? Well, why am I feeling? And if vice versa for a masculine, you're gonna be like, okay, well, I thought that I was rejected, and now it's bringing forth all these feelings. We have to think about what made those thoughts or what made those emotions surface in us in the first place. And it could be something that's going back to in high school, when if you were made fun of for you know the way you talked, if your stutter, your skin complexion, uh, being what people call a geek, or sports jock, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you were just one of those pretty boys or popular girls, and you've never had to experience the answer no, so it was a little bit of an ego shock, like, well, damn, people don't reject me, what's going on? And well, maybe you was using your looks, or maybe you were using, and that person's just not into something like that. They want something more deeper, not something that's just surface, whatever the case may be. I'm going through a wide array. I don't know your personal experience, so it depends really on that. But it's an answer. It's an answer. It's an answer. When it becomes a rejection, that's something that we have to internalize. And even vice versa, if you feel, oh, well, my worth increased because this person said yes, that's something that's been internalized too. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you have all right to be happy, but it should not increase your worth or your value within yourself based off of somebody else's answer. You should already feel that within yourself, and then be like, hey, they say yes, like, hey, and that just added sprinkles to the Sunday. I was already a Sunday, now I got a little bit of sprinkles up there. It was already banana split was already delicious with the bananas and the cherries and the whipped cream and the 3 scoops of ice cream. But you know what? We add a little bit more whipped cream on top of that. It's a blessing. It's an addition. It's not like you just had the bananas and the whipped cream, and they became the ice cream. Now that forms a for codependency. It's like, oh, well, it's not a banana split without the ice cream, because essentially it's not. But I guess technically speaking, banana is just a banana. Okay, anyway, we ain't gonna go there. But yeah, no, it's no, it's a tough word. It can form a lot of emotional responses, but that's something that we stem from within our childhood, from hearing no. No was like, oh, well, if our parents said no, it's because no, you're not big enough. No, you're not old enough. No, you don't understand. Which in turn lies something being no as something within me that is lacking or not there yet. When It's not. It's an answer. Yes, as a child, our parents are explaining as to why they give the answer no, because we are a child and we have to learn. But we carry that on into adulthood and into other situations as well. Once we do become adults, and once we are adults, it's like, okay, it's coming to that point that it should just be an answer. Like, we say no all the time to somebody else, and they take it personal. Then we want to get, well, why are you taking it personal? Well, I mean, when was the last time you took it personal? But that sometimes you have to go back and explain, like, you know what? It's nothing personal. It's just no, not right now. I don't know. Maybe later on. Just could be just not right now, or it could be just flat out no. But that comes with maturity and being able to, even if you ask somebody one day and they say no, you just be like, you know what, not to pry or anything, but but why not? If you don't mind asking, someone be like, well, I don't feel like answering, and others might be like, you know what, I'm just not there yet. Okay, and that helps, especially if you do feel rejected. Ask, and not just be like, "Oh, what do you mean no?" or "Why?" Don't just because that's going to give off a vibration as to, okay, well, you feel entitled. Like, just out of curiosity, if you don't mind asking, why not? Are you too busy? Just asking, and you don't have the answer if you don't want to. But that's all I'm gonna leave this with. We are at 51:45, so dang, that was 51. That was almost an hour. Yeah, I feel like it was an hour talking. All right, but feel free to like, share, subscribe. Everything will be below in the drop a box, and it's your boy X for Spiritual X-Men Experiences. Um, yeah, I'm gonna come on with a video a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm outside because I just it's beautiful outside. And when it comes to uploading my videos in my apartment, my Wi-Fi sucks. So it's just quicker outside. But and plus y'all know I love being outside anyway. But I'm gonna go ahead, head to the store, probably give me some juice and something else to eat, cause y'all know your boy likes to eat. All right, check out next time. Peace.